This video was sponsored by Ren.
Ah yes, the Fallout 3 DLCs. Artifacts. Relics. A bit poopy. For those who don't know, after releasing Fallout 3, Todd and his band of merry men decided to steal from everyone and give to themselves.
I take a little cut because I'm an insane megalomaniac. In total, Bethesda released 5 DLCs that, just like Fallout 3, were made in the game engine Gamebryo.
And you know, Gamebryo, I've never said that out loud before. What a strange name. I mean, what's next? Fallout-pian tubes? I'm so happy with that joke. Each of these DLCs are their own separate story, so rather than doing a big introduction, we're gonna jump right in or else we're gonna be here all day. The first one we're gonna talk about is...
So the way this extra content works is you load up Fallout 3 with the DLCs installed, and you get a quick notification telling you that you have a new quest. Then you just follow the corresponding marker on your map. In Operation Anchorage, you're led to a group called the Outcasts, who are trying to open the door to an armory that they've found. But the only way to open it is to complete a virtual reality training simulation that can only be accessed using a Pip-Boy.
VR, you say? Well, I'm spoilt for choice. The index, the quest. Ah, perfect. Let's go.
You enter the training simulation and find that it turns you into a covert operative during the Battle of Anchorage in Alaska.
Don't you remember me, Sid?
In the Fallout universe, Alaska has the last of the world's oil, and so in this battle, America is trying to recapture it from the Chinese.
And there we go, thousands dead so that people like Will Smith can once again fuel their private jets and fly them straight into Chris Rock's face. When I wrote that joke, it had just happened, but I think some time has probably passed.
It starts off pretty promising, as you need to covertly work your way through the Chinese defenses. But very quickly, you start fighting in huge open battles, and you realize that this DLC is about one thing: shooting stuff. There are a few good parts where you can hire robots and snipers to help you out, but there's no story to any of this. First, we take out their artillery gun. Well, that'll show them. Then we blow up their fuel tankers. There we go, that's more like it. Let's just put that there. The most enjoyable parts of this DLC, though, are definitely the things going constantly wrong. At one point, I found an invisible Chinese sniper who was only attacking his own men. I was tempted to think he was a defector of some kind, but he kept shouting "Death to America," so I don't know, we have a lot in common. I even tried talking to him, but every time I did, my character swiftly lost consciousness for a few minutes. I met this person who had dialogue and subtitles, but they had no recorded lines. This room had a constant strobe-like effect. My comrade in arms kept ending up inside a robot.
And it's important to note that these aren't complaints. No. These are the highlights of the game for me. They really add to the feeling that you're in a... Wait, what's going on? I don't know...
The DLC ends with us facing off against the Chinese general in charge. And like every single other person we meet in this bloody game, we just politely ask them to surrender and he kills himself. What a challenge. The simulation ends with our American general walking over to congratulate us. Excuse me, my eyes are up here. I then wake up and the door to the armory is now open. The outcasts immediately turn on each other for some reason. But no matter who survives, I'm allowed to take every single item in here and no one says anything.
But you know the thing that really bushels my eyebrows? Is that there's no meaningful outcome or story to any of this. The DLC just goes door locked, storm the Chinese, door open. A tale as old as time.
In Project Zeta, you discover the signal of a crashed alien spaceship, and upon discovering the wreckage, you get beamed aboard. You wake up with your parts being probed, pass out, and wake up again in a cell with a lady named Soma.
But here's where it gets good. I use my advanced science skill to hack the force field, use my speech skill to bribe the guard, and then I use my energy weapons skill to... What, you think this is a Fallout game? Nah.
I punch Soma until they break into stop us, then we punch them senseless back. Where's your millennia of technological and intellectual superiority now, huh? We then meet Sally. Hi, I'm Harry. We then meet Sally, who's supposed to be a young girl, but honestly, I think you could make a more convincing child from a potato. She leads the group until we eventually meet a cowboy, a captain, a corpse, and a Centurion.
We all then team up and fight our way out of the alien spaceship. And I know what you're thinking. There's loads of characters now. This must be much better than the previous DLC.
The cowboy was abducted and his family are dead. The medic was abducted and his friends, they're all dead. Sally's parents were abducted and they're dead. But the samurai, well, the samurai. He doesn't speak any English, so nothing too groundbreaking here. And I swear to you, all anyone has to say about this situation is, I don't know.
What's going on?
Not a clue.
What?
Hell if I know.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter now. Can't say as it matters.
Does it really matter?
Yes, it fucking matters. This is a narrative-based franchise.
So no, the characters don't save it, and outside of this, it's just another linear shooter, but with lasers.
Your goal in this DLC is to fight your way through the ship, killing all the aliens you see, all the time while trying to make it to the helm so that you can take over the ship and fly it back to... Fawkes is dead. Fawkes is dead! What? Fawkes isn't even on this ship.
I've been playing for half an hour. What happened? Did they accidentally rematerialize him outside the ship and he's been slowly suffocating to death for the last 30 minutes? My main issue with this DLC though is you never learn anything interesting. There are audio logs from captives, but all you ever get are confused people being hit and screaming.
All right. Ow! Stop it! Ow! Stop! Ow! What the? Ow! How did this? Ah! We never expected to meet you all. I'm sure there's a great deal that our two species can learn. Ow! Ow!
These audio logs don't pause either, so if you're listening to one when a cutscene starts, you completely lose track of what's going on.
This is
No
it.
way. No
Pretty neat,
way.
huh?
So what? I'm being
I've
held
never
for
had the
guys.
courage to
Now
wake
with
them
somehow
up.
like
Please, would everyone please stop talking? And it's not all bad. There's a small segment where you get to be outside the ship that I, of course, loved. Ah, see, this is more like it. The open void of space. Oh. Damn it!
I was too sus.
So we kill every single alien on the ship, not forgetting this guy because fuck mercy. Who are the real monsters here? And eventually we escape back to the wasteland to find Fawkes' dead body standing bolt upright. Sleep well, old friend. This guy's face is also really weird too. It looks like someone sat on Owen Wilson.
Okay, so one of the biggest complaints about Fallout 3's story was that you died at the end after you beat the Enclave. This meant if you wanted to continue exploring the wasteland, you had to reload a save.
With this DLC installed, when you get to the deadly radiation chamber at the end of Fallout 3, instead of sacrificing yourself, you now have the option to send in Fawkes, your immortal friend, to save the day. Oh wait, no, fuck, he died when I was in space.
Okay, if you get to this point and Fawkes is dead, it is fine. You can still go into the chamber to sacrifice yourself, but with this DLC installed, we now somehow survive and live again to explore the wasteland. Now, I would say that this alone kind of makes the DLC worth getting, but as well as this, you get some extra missions which ask you to finish off the Enclave forces.
Now, I will admit I'm not crazy about these missions. Oh, surprise, surprise. Oh, but it's just because they're so similar to the final missions you just did at the end of Fallout 3.
But all of this feels a little bit off, you know? The Enclave doesn't have a leader anymore. I put him in a bin at the end of the last game. So you're not fighting a group with any specific person in charge. This means that the Enclave have no character, goal, substance, personality.
At one point you do get to fight some ghouls in a metro tunnel, which is a little bit of variety, but most of these ones seem to be having trouble existing for some reason. Jesus Christ, what are they doing?
Okay, I'm going to show you how we really do it in the wasteland.
At the end, you storm the final Enclave base on your own, and this is a big improvement over the game's original ending with Liberty Prime, especially as this new ending is far more challenging. You make it to the top of the Enclave base and are finally given the option to blow it all up, finishing off this evil scourge once and for all. Or you're given the option to blow up the Citadel.
The Citadel, if you don't know, is the base of the faction we've spent this entire playthrough helping, so I really don't know why this option is here.
I, of course, be normal and choose to blow up the Enclave base. It blows up, and I land back at the Citadel ready for some much-needed praise after single-handedly saving the entire world.
When I first saw you, I thought you were just some trashy wastelander.
When I first met you, I was leery of your motivations.
Leery? Trashy? Oh, you know what? Fuck this. I'll show you fucking Leery.
So I pick the Citadel, and we leave, and shortly later we land back down and discover its ruins. And immediately, I mean the second we land, I get accused with 100% fucking certainty.
It was you. You did this, goddamn murderer.
And they all start shooting me.
You guys do realize the call to blow up the Citadel came from inside the enemy base while you were attacking them? Blaming me! This is like blaming Pearl Harbor on the Hawaiians! Okay, sure, I know I did actually do it, but where's the evidence? Where's the love?
Then of course I have to kill them all too.
And there we go, that's Fallout 3's new official ending. It's canon! And what do we do now? Oh, I don't know. The pit. The pit is almost good. Slow down. But really, the first few hours of this DLC are genuinely brilliant.
In this DLC, you learn there's a sickness of some kind mutating people in a slave town called the Pit. You agree to pose as a slave so that you can steal a cure that the slavers have discovered, which we then plan to use to leverage freedom for the slaves. Bam! Before I enter this radioactive slave town, I ask if I can sneak in a weapon, and the guy setting this all up begrudgingly offers to let you take in either a knife or a gun. Gimme the gun, gimme the gun, gimme the gun. Sorry. I arrive at the town and say I'm a slave that escaped, and I receive the beatdown of a lifetime. Ow. Ow. No. Ow. I of course pass out and wake up in the pit.
They messed you up pretty bad.
And I really do think this place is great. The setting is convincingly gritty and atmospheric, and all the slaves look like piles of strawberry rice pudding. It's all very effective at making you want to get involved and help them out.
The best part of all this, though, is you've had all your weapons and armor taken away at the door, so there's a real sense that you're going to have to work carefully to get out of this.
The first thing that happens is you're told you're going to be sent out to collect metal ingots in the incredibly dangerous monster-ridden wilds.
So I avoid all the monsters using my sneak skill, use my repair skill to make a small weapon, and then use my science skill to...
I get sent out and immediately find an assault rifle on the ground. So I ask you, what in God's name was the point of all this setup where you lose all your stuff? I'm now completely invincible against these waves of totally unarmed mutants. And so who's the real monster here? Saying this whole section where you collect the ingots is still incredibly great. The general tone and level design are really convincing. Hats off.
And what happens after you return these ingots to the guard? Does he take your weapons away? Maybe reward you with a scrap of food? No! He leaves you with all your weapons, fills your inventory with 3 full sets of armor, and awards you the most powerful laser rifle in the entire game.
This is the best gun I ever had.
Off you go, but you better not be thinking of emancipating any slaves with those weapons. Anyway, to meet the slave boss who's got the cure for the mutations, we have to win 3 rounds in the gladiator arena. A little bit like the film Gladiator.
Now this was a tough task given how measly my weapons are, but somehow I scraped through each round with a victory. You meet the leader of the slavers and he reveals to you that the cure for the mutations is in fact his baby daughter. And this is of course an incredible scientific discovery. How on earth is she able to do this?
I'm still trying to figure out why.
Oh, another brilliant mind brimming with information. I know a spaceship where you'd fit right in. And here is the DLC's big moral choice. Do we leave Marie asleep in her crib, pick up the baby and kidnap her, or eat the baby?
Who would do such a thing?
Eat the baby, 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 eat the baby.
Look here, brain, I don't have to do everything you tell me.
Now, given this decision is about saving the lives of all the slaves here, I decided it was worth stealing the baby and running. So you run the baby back to the slaves, killing most of the slavers on the way. You eventually reach the head slave and he abruptly says,
"So hurry up and put the brat in the crib."
And suddenly you realize that this filthy, one-eyed, murderous stranger that also smokes around children might not be the best daycare center. So I leave and return the baby back to her parents. Okay, here he comes. Now I'm gonna get it.
You kidnapped my daughter, fought my raiders, and gave the workers the ridiculous idea that they can free themselves. What do you have to say in your defense?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
And then he fucking congratulates you for stealing his daughter.
Clever thinking.
The mother then asks you, the axe-wielding kidnapper of her infant daughter, to go collect teddy bears and she fucking pays you for your work. What?
After everything that's happened, this is such a bizarre ending. It makes all these people feel like they're made of fucking tissue paper.
The father then grants you freedom while also giving you unlimited access to their ammo manufacturing press.
You see, the problem with these DLCs is the main storylines just aren't very good. What made Fallout 3 work was the huge open world filled with hundreds of side quests that kind of distracted you from the terrible writing. So why didn't Bethesda make a DLC more like Fallout 3? Well. Point Lookout. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
That's a good one.
In Point Lookout, we finally get a huge new open-world map filled with loads of interesting places to discover, and an entirely new main questline to complete. The visuals are creepy, the characters and enemies are interesting, and the weapons fit the setting while also being really fun to use. They've even brought back the Mylurt Kings, and I just love how seriously these guys seem to take themselves. The main character in Point Lookout is Desmond Lockhart, a 250-year-old ghoul who is being hunted down by a crazed cult. The DLC starts with a huge shootout in his old mansion, and it gets things off to a great start. I really like Desmond too, because as a ghoul, he's of course nearly immortal, but he actually talks like that's the case, referencing all the skills he's picked up in his long life so far.
After 250 years, you think I'll go down to you? Try.
There's not a lot left to say about this specific DLC, other than I think you should probably try it yourself. I am about to talk about its ending a little bit, so if you do want to try it out, to avoid spoilers, skip to this timestamp here.
As it turns out, an old disembodied brain is what has been sending in the cult to kill Desmond, and this is all about settling a centuries-old feud going on between them. I got distinct supervillain vibes from this brain.
At last, yes! Desmond will die, and our long struggle will finally end the only way it could have, with me as the victor!
So in the end, I sided with him to kill Desmond, and we blow up his mansion in quite the cutscene. I then go to finally meet the brain in his base, but as it turns out, Desmond has miraculously survived the explosion and wants revenge. But do we think that, like a certain baby's parents, he's going to overlook this enormous transgression and forgive me?
You double-crossed me, tried to kill me, sided with my archenemy, and blew up my home.
You have one chance.
He gives me another chance. Why does everyone in this game keep forgiving me? I tell him to stuff it because, look, I just can't take you seriously anymore. Finally meet up with the brain, and we begin to plan our adventurous future together.
For you, I have a very special gift. Death!
Oh, you son of a brain. Now, he releases all of his robots to kill me, but as you can see, most of them are on the floor below. And the ones on this floor, in my playthrough at least, didn't activate for some reason. So all that was left to do was to wait here silently until his reinforcements arrived. Soon you will face death.
Where is everyone?
They are downstairs, but soon they will be here.
But I could just shoot you now.
Soon you will be who is shot.
Look, I'm just gonna end this now.
No, stop, don't do that. What are you, stop, no! And then I kill him with absolutely no resistance from anybody. Has it really come to this?
And there we have it. That's all of the DLCs done. To summarize, I think it was quite strange for Bethesda to make these all just linear stories. People play Fallout 3 for the sense of adventure. They want to turn a corner and be surprised by a wealth of new ideas and characters. And although at times Point Lookout was much better than Fallout 3, the other DLC were really missing what made it great. And so, oh wait, no. We're getting an official apology video in from Bethesda. Let's check it out.
We mostly made the Fallout 3 DLC linear storytelling. And for that...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so today we've learned that we must stop the apocalypse. I can't live in a world filled with stories that don't go anywhere and where stealing babies wins you prizes. Not on my watch. I'm not wearing a watch because I can't get into my prop shed anymore. Please don't make me go in there. So that's why then I make all these videos and streams about the climate crisis, and you seem to be into it too, more than the videos I do about pickles. What's going on here? So to continue my efforts to improve and educate on the climate crisis, I've once again teamed up with the company Ren. You see, Ren is a website where you can calculate and offset your carbon footprint by funding a huge mix of carbon reduction projects, like tree planting and rainforest protection. There's lots of new ideas being funded too, like this mineral weathering project in Scotland. The way this works is minerals like basalt are spread over the land, and this raises the pH of the soil, making it alkaline. This then means naturally acidic rain, which naturally contains carbon, will react with that soil, causing the carbon in the rain to be captured as a salt. And you know the great thing about carbon in salts? They stay out of the atmosphere. That was table salt, there's no carbon in it, but you get the idea. So by answering a few questions about your lifestyle, you can find out your carbon footprint and how to reduce it. No one can get their carbon footprint to 0, so you can just offset what you have left after reducing. It's very important to note that although offsetting your carbon footprint is an amazing thing to do, it's very easy to sort of brush your hands after doing it and say, I don't need to fly less or use green energy. The best thing about this for me is that it shows you how much CO2 you produce doing certain things. After seeing just how much flying affected things, I genuinely started replacing holidays abroad with those in the UK. So offset your carbon footprint on rent. The first 100 people that use the link in the description will get 10 extra trees planted in their name. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.